Ace James. I'm in a smoke session with Squirrel. You already know what's up.
Man, it's your boy Danny, that guy. This smoke session with Squirrel. You know what's going on, man.
Rewind it a little bit and play it again, you know what I mean? While we in this smoke session with Squirrel.
Okay. And it's your boy Squirrel. Who we got today with me?
Big overkill, man, RBPs, that type of shit.
Smoke session with Squirrel.
Hey, smoke section with Squirrel. Have throat sex with your girl, motherfucker.
Yeah, go follow Smoke Session with Squirrel. Follow the page right now.
Yeah.
Blow a cutie or some marshmallow, shout out Apple Sky. It's Smoke Session with Squirrel. I'm about to take off, smoking on some tropical runts. It blow your face off.
EA Sports, it's in the game.
Madden NFL 2004.
You ever had the moments when you question everything? Why am I breathing? What's the purpose of being alive? High School All-American, Parade Magazine Player of the Year, the man.
This All-American was the man in high school before he was the man at Michigan State.
Full ride, baby! Go green! Go green! And I keep 1 second on me. NFL, first round draft pick. ATL. Time to hit the big league, baby! Let's go!
18.
The parties, the money, women. The world moved when I said so. I own it all. The lights, the cameras. I was the action. Talking to them reporters after the game, catching your breath. You want that, huh? You want all of that. No one's played that good in 20 years. Them zeros, the attention, flashing lights. Everybody knows your name. Doors open for you. You ain't got to touch them. The food you eat, it's given to you. You ain't got to pay for it. You call the shot. You lay the law. You might even think you're above it, baby. Show me a weight room. I'll lift everything in there. I'm stronger than you, baby. You know that. You're a bad man. Ooh, you bad. I was that. I was you. Nah. I am you. How you feel? Scared yet? Feeling alone yet? Questioning yourself yet? Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's real. I feel that too. I had them same questions. I had that same doubt. At night, closing my eyes, I can still hear the crowd. I can still smell the linebacker looking at me. But now I feel like he got me. I feel like the walls are closing in now. Nowhere to run. Nowhere to hide. I remember complaining about my phone ringing all the time. Now I check to see if it's still on. Remember I mentioned doors open for you? I can't even find the door now. Whew. The illusion of the truth, huh?
I traded my degree for a dream. Some people think I'm crazy, but the world thinks doesn't seem to matter much lately.
It's time to wake up, baby. Time to make some action, some new action. You win some and you lose some. Right now, this might be a losing streak, huh? Don't feel good, does it? Doesn't feel right, does it? Doesn't feel like it's even real, does it? It's real. It's a dark space that we enter. Lights go off. Cheering stops. The game is over. And it's just you and your thoughts. You probably don't even know what to think about. You probably don't even know what you could become. You probably don't even know who you are. I remember them days. TJ was that dude. TJ's who you met earlier. But at one point, at one moment, I realized that that mold, that frame, that warrior was no longer in me. That piece of me had died. There was a death. And understanding that there was a death, a loss of life, big life, my life, I also know I had to mourn, had to grieve, the tears. It's different tasting your tears after a football game than it is after waking up. It's still salty though. It's time to rebuild. It's time to get back that courage. It's time to get back that belief. It's not going to be easy. It's not going to be easy. And you know that. You know that. I'm not saying to stop feeling, thinking, believing you are the strongest, bravest warrior. I'm not saying that. But what I'm saying is, this is the moment to wake up. Them summer conditioning workouts, the morning winter conditioning workouts, the price paid in that weight room, the heart, the guts, the courage to play when you probably can't even feel a piece of your body. But you still gonna play, ain't you? Yeah. That fight has to be the same. That intensity has to be the same. The effort, the passion, the want has to be undeniable. There's nothing else that matters. There's nothing else that is important except your own life, except what you believe, and knowing what you will achieve. Do you want it? I know you do, because you wouldn't be here right now. You wouldn't be in this space. Now is the time for you to show what you are about and who you're gonna be. You're the only one that's gonna know. The work and the effort is yours. The time and space will be given. Focus on your life. We can keep going if you want. Come alive. Be free. Choose your fate. Don't be late. I had to create an image that I didn't even know. Boy, Did I rebuild it? Did I rebuild it? And you looking at me, baby. You looking at me. I'm here. I'm here. I'm here. Most importantly, I'm here. I'm here. I'm whole. You will be too. Open your heart. Open your soul. Open your eyes. Dream again, baby! Let's crank this engine back up. Kick them tires. Refuel, recharge. Which is why you're here, baby. You ready to get right? You ready to get focused? Don't change the intensity that you have now. Don't change the passion you have now. Level up. Think bigger of yourself. Let your dream be bigger. Let your hope be bigger. You be bigger. You be courageous. Become that champion on the field. Become that champion off the field that you always believed you were anyway. Let the rest of the world see it and lock in on where you want to go. And then when you get back to that space and you know what you want, you know where you're about to be, go get it. Go get it. Go get it. You ready? You ready? Life hits fast. Have a plan. Let's go!
The new scheme surge, carry spears of ideas, and so many came before, but we still first. Chariots from the fire, shaped by the desire, making titans come alive with a skilled verse. This arena is a stage, these words carry weight, elevate, tell fate that it can move or burn. Cause tonight, we rise.
Yo, Smoke Session with Squirrel, episode 111. We got a special episode for y'all. It's your boy Squirrel.
I'm your boy R.O.B. Who we got in the building today, man?
Todd Duckett, the Rainmaker. What's happening? Appreciate y'all having me. Thank you. Appreciate it.
Let the people know who you are, why you here.
Yeah.
Those who don't know, you know what I'm saying? Give them a little background.
Yes, I'm Todd J. Duckett. I am the Rainmaker. My mission now is to flood the world through giving and service, a single raindrop at a time. And I'm from Kalamazoo, so it's great to be at home. It's great to be with fam, and I'm thankful for the opportunity for me to share my voice and share what I've been doing, share what I'm about.
Okay. How did you get into like the giving and all that? You know what I'm saying?
I was given a lot, and especially here in this community, and that's what really got me going here. All the people who poured into me and allowed me to be who I am. My mom, my dad, my family, giving and service is in our blood. And to be able to go and either from your presence, a positive action, a positive word, you can brighten someone's life. I mean, you can help someone. I mean, we all are struggling. We all got our downs and we all feel certain ways. And to be able to help motivate somebody, help inspire somebody, that became my mission now. And playing football, playing in the NFL, seeing the blessings that I had, man, I was truly blessed. And I didn't really realize it. And
you're living in the moment.
Yeah, I mean, this is life, ain't it? Isn't this what you do?
Yeah.
And then all of a sudden, when it was over, I had to start over. And starting over, it humbled me, and I just felt like I had a responsibility that I had to do. That's part of my life, to do more.
That's dope, man. So, give us a rundown on like early childhood of
Future Duckett playing football.
Yeah, future NFL.
Well, I started out playing rocket football at Northside Raiders.
Hey,
yeah, you was a Raider too?
Yeah,
man, I'm learning all the time. But I started there, man, when I was 8. And I didn't know. I played center. I mean, I didn't know how to run.
But
Bigger than everybody though?
The next year I grew.
Okay.
My 9-year-old, 10-year-old, I started to grow. But I mean, all the coaches I had there really poured into me again. I mean, that's what the message is going to be throughout all this. This isn't me. This is people who have poured into me, and I'm representing them.
That's dope.
But I mean, I started playing like we all started playing, just in the park, in the playground, and I'm 8 years old on my first team, playing up my hand in the dirt, playing offensive line, and I'm just learning the game, and I'm loving the game, having fun playing the game, and then just each year, it started to get better, it started to improve, it started to grow in the game, and then I mean, I had my family is very athletic. My dad's been a coach at Kalamazoo Lori Norks, go Knights. He's been a coach. He's still a coach. I mean, he's on his 55th year at Lori Norks.
He's still at Norks?
He's still there.
That was my gym teacher.
55 years. He's still there. Pops, I love you if you're watching this.
I think he was a track coach when I was.
He's still a track coach. He just got the head coaching job for the girls now, too.
Get on my ass.
Yeah.
I ain't gonna say y'all story.
But I mean, I come from a sports family, and to be able, my brothers are 11, Tico and Tony. Tony's 14 years older, Tico's 11 years older. So I'm watching them as a kid, just watching them.
You was always around it.
Yeah.
The youngest always be the one.
Be the one. And at the same time, I'm going to track practice. I'm going to basketball practice at Norks, sitting on the sideline, running under the hurdles, playing in the sand, shooting the basketball on the side rim. And why they doing it?
Oh, I see.
So I'm just playing. I mean, I'm just playing, and I'm not knowing it. I hear my dad get on a player here and there, snapping on him. How come you ain't touching the line? And I'm looking like, what? And I hear like, what didn't he do? Okay. So if you do what's right,
I know not to do that.
I know not to, and so I'm just absorbing all these things. And again, just the year started. You become 9, 10. You start to go to junior high, you start to be with other friends, and you start to just see, you start to watch Sports Center, things just start to click. And, God blessed me with ability and for the love of the game. And so it was just a perfect storm throughout my childhood, and Kalamazoo as a whole, such an athletic community. Yeah. I mean, it's such a whole, whether you're teammates or you're playing against somebody, it's a monster on the other side of you, regardless. So even the city at the time was amazing. So it was just a perfect storm in my upbringing.
How was it being coached by your dad?
It was great.
A lot of kids don't, or they don't think it's that big of a deal. Like they just brush it off. But a lot of the other kids you coaching, they always accept it more.
The outsiders look at it and be like, "Man, I got more." Like that's crazy. You're getting coached by your dad or your uncle.
And but again, what you said earlier, me being the youngest. My dad, he went through, Tony, Tico, had 11 years, and I came through. Yeah. So it was a little different, I believe, from the time they had. Plus, he was really just my track coach. Yeah. I had a different football coach in high school, Coach Drake. I love Coach Drake.
Coach Drake was around there?
Yeah.
He's dropping names.
I had a different basketball coach, Coach Jackson, and then Coach Woodley. And then my dad was a track coach. And track is really an individual sport at the same time. So you go off and I threw the shot put and ran a couple races. So I'm really training. He'd come in, and Coach Drake was even my shot put coach. So my dad he was always around, but he wasn't like hovering on me and just on my back about stuff. He would give me more of a higher level of coaching. He'd sit back and we would talk after an event or after a game, and it wasn't necessarily like your footwork and your hand placement, more mental. What you did. What you did. I went out there and I might have had the best day, the best game. I might have had I just got off, and I'm fired up. And the first thing he said is, "Are you done yet?" And I'm like, "Did you just see what I did?" But are you done yet? Nah, you ain't done yet. And that really kept me humble. But he just always kept me focused on the next step. What's next? And never got me complacent.
He made you want it more, though.
Me want it more. He made me. He kept driving for me, kept pushing me. But it wasn't. It was little subtle nudges. that really kept me going.
Mr. Miyagi.
Mr. Miyagi, yeah, Mr. Miyagi.
Wax on. When did you know, like, this is what I want to do? I want to go to college and play football. I want to go to the NFL and play football.
I would say around junior high is when I started to feel myself a little bit.
I know I'm gonna be better than.
I started to feel myself. I mean, now you compete. It ain't just Rocket football. It ain't YBL. That's Hillside over there.
Yeah.
And that's South. And that's Portage Central.
Maple Street.
But that's like you start to see some of these things. But then you also know, like, well, I'm gonna be playing them in high school. Yeah. And I started feeling myself, and then in 8th grade I pulled my kneecap off. So I broke my leg right at the end of the very last full day of school. We at lunch and we're playing. I went to dunk and my thigh pulled off, and I sat out my whole freshman year. My whole 9th grade year, I didn't play football, I didn't play basketball, and I ran a little bit of track and baseball.
For real?
But I spent from that whole freshman year, I spent running and lifting and training. School would end at 2:20. I wouldn't leave till 7. And my dad having the keys to everything, I'm running around the hallway, I'm swimming in the pool. I'm in the weight room. Coach Trapp, I don't know if you know Coach Trapp, but Coach Trapp was working with me. I mean, this is what I did for a good 8 months. I mean,
you
just
really got ready for the game.
I mean, I put on 70 pounds. I became a 250-pound 10th grader.
That's crazy. It's a gift and
yes, it was. But that's what it was about. And what it did was it taught me what work ethic meant. Taught me what this. Otherwise, I'd have came in as a freshman. I probably would have been on varsity as a freshman, but I wouldn't have had no time to know what it was like to be in the dark. I mean, to start feeling myself, thinking, man, I'm finna go to Norks. Little John already there. We got the squad.
So he was already there.
Yeah, he's a year older than me.
Okay, got
so it's like we take over the world. And then all of a sudden, I break my leg, and it's like, nah, bro, you're not even gonna play. You ain't even gonna be on the team. And then the team's having success. Yeah. So it's like, man, we don't even need you, really. Yeah. So I'm looking, I'm like, man. And then the question is, like, do I rehab and get stronger? Or do I, somebody else can have this thing. Like, the dream over. Yeah. And I ended up, man, that's when I was like, okay, I have something to prove now. And it wasn't necessarily I want to prove I'm a NFL player, but I want to prove that I can still play. Like the things that came up.
It's a me thing.
It's me. I want to still play that I still want to be the guy that I said I was going to be, and not pretend to be this guy and be the woulda, coulda, shoulda.
Yeah, everybody like, damn, you sweet.
Man, so I mean, I ran and I lifted and I rehabbed for 8 months. If you're a young high school kid anywhere in the building, understand the importance of training, of being able, if you want a long-term career. I mean, it ain't for everybody. Everybody ain't going to do this.
Sacrifice.
But those that can understand this, there's a chance that they're going to have a long-term career. If they want to have it, you put that time in now. And for me to go from 9th and 10th grade, be redshirted, be on a bench for a year and just run and lift all day, every day, chopping at the bit.
Did you see anybody else out there doing it?
Most of them are in season.
Yeah, okay.
I mean, the season's still going. Yeah, so it's they couldn't do it like that. Yeah. I mean, they're still lifting and running, but not like that. You see what I'm saying?
And his own focus.
I mean, I'm on injury reserve.
Yeah, that's all I'm doing.
And now, like I said, if you're a young man or a young woman who wants to compete at that level athletically, the weight room, the train, the discipline, the sacrifice, and that works for everything. That works not just sports, but if you want a college education, if you want to be an entrepreneur, whatever it is, there's this window that if you can maximize that window and learn all the discipline, if you can learn all these skills,
you use it for life.
You use them forever. And then also what that did was it made me believe in myself even more now. I mean, even more, because now you know how much work I put in, and I'm gonna let you tackle me, or I'm gonna quit.
Yeah. So
you come back.
Did you get to play your sophomore year?
Yeah, I came back my sophomore year.
What was that like?
I mean, great.
That's it.
I mean, it was great. It was more of a physically I was prepared. I was ready. but I ended up playing. I started at quarterback and linebacker my sophomore year, but I'm playing with 11 and 12th graders who have been playing this whole. I mean, nobody else has been sitting out, and everyone else kind of kept it going. So mentally, I had to catch up. The speed of the game,
it's a whole shell shock.
I mean, to be a quarterback in a lot, to be in certain positions, and you got there's a whole lot that come with it that you got to prepare for, and it took a minute to really understand that part of the game. Physically, I could do it, but to lead and to be successful and to compete, that's a whole different space that took me time to evolve into.
That's crazy. You came back just getting back in it, and you had something to prove sophomore year.
Oh yeah.
But junior year, you went crazy.
Is that where it started for you, junior year?
I mean, that was the next step. I mean, that was the next step. And
would you rush for a seat junior year? Did it say 2,100 or something?
I don't know, but I mean, the team that we had though, that my junior year, the seniors that we had.
You little John.
I mean, there was so many seniors on that team that I was a piece. I mean, with Little John, you had Trevon Hobson, you had Mike Martin, you had Ryan Desmond, R.I.P. I mean, you're so many people that I'm forgetting, folks. I mean, but Rob Bradford.
I mean, that's Schizo?
Yeah.
Schizo, shout out Schizo.
I mean,
squad.
there are so many people
Schizo in North
that
was going crazy. I didn't know he was on the squad.
I mean, there were so many people on that team. Jevin. I mean, I can keep going. I can just keep going because they would have been class of '98, I think. But that class of '98, I mean, they went undefeated their freshman year, so I was just on their team. Yeah, I was a piece of it. I mean, they already had this mentality, and I was just on their team competing. Yeah. And so that helped at the same time helped me grow and still learn the position. But when it was time for me, when my number was called, let's go.
Let's get it. I've been waiting for this anyway.
I mean, it was just that time. So, but that year, that's when kind of everything just started to click for me, and started to get some national attention from the game. But like I said, it was definitely a lot of people who helped make that happen.
Do you remember the first time you got the national attention? Do you remember that?
I do. I do. It was I was ESPN Junior of the Year. Damn. And either my dad or Coach Drake told me, and they're like, "We're gonna come in and we're gonna take a pictures." And I mean, it was like actually a photo shoot. Yeah. And we was in the back gym at North. And at the time, I was like, "Are people gonna see this? Like, do they know that I'm this too? Like, am I the only one that know this?" And it came out. I mean, I still got the magazine, and that was kind of like the thing. And then between football and playing basketball and having success in track. I mean, a little bit. I mean, that wasn't my thing. But and then I mean, the biggest thing that really put me there was I had a 3.5 GPA. Oh yeah. I mean, grades, kids, everything. There are tons of people who are big, fast, and strong, but everybody does not take their academics seriously. They don't take it seriously. So if a kid wants to be recruited and get a scholarship, well, the school wants to know: do we got to watch you, and are you going to go to class? Do we have to spend time going to your door? Hey, time to wake up. Do we have to spend time babying you and monitoring you? They want to know that when you go to that school, that you will take it seriously. Yeah. I mean, so that was again, big, fast, strong was wonderful. But then you add the off the field stuff. Like a lot of people don't put the off the field stuff into play. I mean, the off the field stuff is what makes you great. The on the field stuff is what people can memory they'll create. Yeah. That's the difference.
That's real right there, though.
Definitely. So you being number one in the country now, how did that?
Senior year.
Yeah, senior year.
That gotta be crazy.
Number one in the country.
Yeah, no, it was.
Is this number one player overall or number one in the championship?
No, it was overall. Damn. It was. I mean, I would put this. I was at least top 3 on somebody's list.
He said he was parade All-American, number one player.
I was parade player of the year. That's true.
And what's so crazy? What people don't know, he was recruited as a linebacker.
That's
correct?
true too. Yes, yeah, linebacker.
He was recruited as a linebacker, but you went to state because they was gonna give you that shot. Right?
Because they gave me 2 opportunities. Nick Saban. We got two opportunities. Gave me opportunity, and it was just one of them things. Like you're playing in your sandbox. You in your sandbox, and just playing in your backyard, and then You know, you just stay focused. You grind. You stay just knowing where you want to go, working hard, and things all of a sudden happen. And you're like, man, I do this workout every day, and you telling me I'm this? Wow. And I mean, it's just, it's a surreal, it's an amazing moment, but at the same time, it's why you do it. My mentality was I always wanted to be the best. That's how I did things. If I can't be the best, why do it? But it's also you got to go earn to be the best. Yeah. So when you're on the bench and you got 5 reps left, you don't quit. You do your best. I mean, you squeak out that run.
Whatever you can.
I mean, whatever you, and that's in all aspects of everything, in the training and on the field and off the field things.
That's what makes you better, the struggle.
And you were talking about with the show, like, I mean, we grind and we're going to blow up, whatever. Yeah, this is what it takes. Yeah. You know how many people quit right now? Yeah. They're like, oh, man, it's too hard. I quit.
Shit, hell yeah.
But that's for me, that's not me.
Yeah.
I'm not going to quit. No. I can't quit.
We go through it. We go through it about it all the time.
And then you come back and you tell the story.
Yeah.
How was it going to Michigan State? Now you get ready to go to Michigan State. You got Nick Saban interacting with you. Was he that type of coach back then that to look back now 20 years later and see he got all these rings like that? Was he that same type of coach back then?
Yeah. I mean, I remember just being recruited by him, and I only had a year to be coached by him, but I mean, he demanded excellence. I mean, he demanded your job. He demanded if you're great, he demanded you be great. Do what it takes to be great.
Here for a reason.
Yeah, and again, when you're in that environment, when you're in that space, isn't that what you play the game for? Isn't that what you want? And to have that type of mentality, the whole team has that mentality. I mean, you see how his teams have been since. I mean,
for real.
That's what it's about.
Did you have a chip on your shoulder going in the state with your brother being Tico Duckett after he had already been?
No, not at all. I mean, if anything,
made you wanted it more.
If anything, we're two separate people in that space. But if anything, it showed me what was possible.
That could happen.
This is my brother. This kid, I know this dude. Yeah. You telling me this dude?
That's what I was just telling you. Like, it's hard to see your brother being Michael Jordan.
Yeah,
Jordan.
But I saw the work he did to become that guy. I remember him coming home on different breaks, and he's waking up at 6 a.m. to hit the road, running. I mean, it's wintertime. We just got a snowstorm, and he out the door getting some road work in. I mean, he's doing what it takes, what people talk about, and I actually see it. Mm-hmm. And so when it became my time, it wasn't like there was a magic special formula. You had to do this work, and I could see to do the work. And this work allows you to be the Big Ten Offensive Player of the Year. Like, allows you to do this and do just by doing the work. And then over the years, you see people who don't do the work, and they're very talented, but they don't do the work.
It falls off each level. Each level it falls off. Each level. It's a guy who's good in elementary. Like, damn, he gonna be sweet. Junior high, like, damn, I'm almost, high school. Now he suck. You know what I'm saying? Like, damn.
It's just different paths.
Yeah,
it's not that he sucked. It's just he had a different path in life. That's the thing. Everyone's path is different, and we put too much emphasis on sports and music as that's going your way, and that's it.
So much
and
more.
And if you don't do that, oh man, you fell off. Well, that wasn't the path.
Right.
I mean, it's not for everybody.
Yeah. That's real shit. Everybody had hoop dreams and making something. I damn near thought I was gonna go.
Now you finna have this bomb show. I mean, and that ain't for everybody either. I mean, it's all the same.
So, tell us about Spartan Bob, and tell us about the play against Michigan, where you upset Michigan for the win.
Yeah. A beautiful moment in Michigan State history. Oh man! I mean, we had those guys from down the road. They came into the woodshed, and anytime you play them,
it's already big.
I mean, it's big, regardless of who has the better record, whatever. And the year before that, we played at their home, and they beat us, and I didn't really have a great game. And I fumbled at one point. I think they beat us I think we didn't even score.
Yeah.
So to sit on that for a whole year. My mother passed around that time, a little before that, and her birthday was that weekend. So I mean, I had a lot on my mind, a lot I wanted to accomplish that game, and so I mean, it was ball game. It was time to go, and a great back and forth game, and then I was blessed to catch the last second pass with 1 second left on the clock. What's up, Spartan Bob? But I was blessed to catch the one that pass, and one of the biggest lessons that I learned from that game, and even to today, is like you never know when that moment's gonna happen. You never know when 1 second's gonna impact somebody's life, and you never know how you're gonna be presented or represented in that one moment. I mean, here I am, a running back, and one of my biggest moments in college is catching a football.
Yeah, I ain't never even think about that.
I mean, that's like some people will come up to me, but aren't you the guy that caught the ball? And I'm like, I did run for over 200 yards that game. Like I am a runner, but aren't you? But one of my biggest moments is something that wasn't my thing. Yeah. I'll take it though. I'll take it.
That's dope. So after Michigan State in the NFL, the Atlanta Falcons. Tell us a little bit about that. How was the draft process?
Dream come true, man. Dream come true. I mean, being
wait before you answer that. When did you know it was real? Like I'm gonna go to the NFL.
On that moment.
Oh, in that moment. All right,
I mean, everything else is just hope. Everything else is just speculate until the commissioner says your name, and then until you actually sign a contract. I mean, it's all hopes. And that draft, I didn't know. I left school. I left as a junior. I was projected to be a high draft choice, and I was hoping to be a high draft choice. But I had to go out and I had to have a great pro day and show that I could run. And I ran a 4.37 at 260. So on draft day, I had a draft party in Lansing at a restaurant in Lansing, and I thought I was going to Cleveland, and they had like the 14th, 15th pick, and they didn't pick me. They picked a different running back.
Nervous time now.
I mean, they picked a different running back, and in my mind, if I didn't get drafted first round, I considered that a failure. I considered if I left school to do this dream, my dream was to be a first rounder. And by the way, that's where the dream stopped, was just to be a first rounder. And if I didn't achieve that, I felt like a failure. So I went in my car, and I'm like, man, I ain't got, none of these teams need any running backs, really. Yeah. And I'm just like, what did I do? And while I was in there, my phone's ringing. I got family. Could you get drafted yet? I'm like, keep the line clean, baby. And then I had this 770 number call. And I'm sitting in the back seat of my truck with the music on, just like, man. I'm like, should I answer? Yeah, this is all throw with the Atlanta Falcons. Would you want to be a Falcon? Oh, yeah. And then they put me on hold. They're like, well, hold on. And I'm like, hold on. How you gonna ask somebody a question
they
like
want
that?
to check first.
But then they got back on the phone and, said they're getting ready to select me with the pick. Go back inside, celebrate with their family, and we'll see you tomorrow. And so I walked back into the party, and everybody didn't really know, so I kind of slid in the back and just kind of posted up real quick. And my agent saw me, JS saw me, and he must have saw my body language or something. He was like, yes. And then the commissioner got on stage, and with the 18th pick, said my name, and the place went crazy. That's dope. And that's when Welcome to Atlanta had just came out, really. Yeah. So the person at the restaurant started banging that on repeat, over and over. And I mean, it was amazing. It was an amazing experience. I mean, it was, like I said, to be a kid playing football on Northside Raiders with the Douglas. Yeah. All of us had that dream.
Hell yeah.
Y'all can do it.
And then to actually hear my name called. And then, I mean, you fast forward to actually now I got a locker. And then you go to the place and, you see you in the official building. and with my official name on the back. I mean, it was just, it's just a surreal moment.
What was your first time like seeing Vic?
What's up? I mean, it was a teammate now. You know, I mean,
Time to work.
it was time. It was just time to work, and you know, and the beauty is, everybody who is there, we all have the same path.
Okay.
We all have checked off those things on our resume. I mean, were you one of the best? Yeah. Did you get drafted?
Everybody's
Yeah.
one of the
Everybody.
best. So was nobody was shell shocked? Like,
Well,
shit.
my very first playoff game, we played in Dallas, and I mean, it was just like you're actually you're in training camp. You're in training camp away from everybody, so you know you just kind of forget what you're doing.
Yeah.
And then you get on the bus, the plane, the flight, and you're in the Dallas Stadium.
Yeah.
And I mean, I'm like, this is Dallas Stadium, you know. And then it's like, man, they go to owner right there, Emmett's over there.
Yeah, see?
I mean, you see, I'm just like, wow. I mean, wow. I mean, it's a preseason game, so everybody ain't playing. I'm playing because I'm a rookie, but I mean, but just the overall experience, you start to get a taste of this is actually we're here now.
Yeah.
I mean, and then it's after that first hit, it all wears off, and then it's a football game now, and you got to play.
I know you remember who's the first person to hit you.
Oh no, I don't remember the first person that hit me. I mean, they all hit hard, man. It's definitely. I mean, you know players. I mean, you know, at that time Baltimore had a monster defense, so you know you got Ray Lewis over there somewhere. I mean, you know you play the Bears. You know you got Urlacher somewhere. I mean, you got. I mean, but that's what it's about.
And you was up. They was feeding you up the middle, so you was meeting them dogs.
I lift weights too, though. You know what I'm saying? I mean, I lift weights. They gonna hit me, but they gonna hit. I'm gonna hit them too. Like we gonna
force.
Yeah, there's gonna be. You know, we gonna have some collisions, and once all the glitz and glamour wear off,
back to football.
It's football.
Yeah,
and then it goes back to who trained.
Yeah, now
who wants it.
Yeah, it goes right back.
And I mean, that goes back to now the work ethic, the discipline. Everybody who's made it there, they all have some type of story.
Yeah, they're all cold.
Somebody's sacrificing something. Somebody's playing for somebody. Somebody's doing something.
Yeah, to get here.
And then once that sacrifice, that love's over, usually the career's over.
Yeah.
At least for me, the career was over.
That's crazy. So you retired early.
But before he retired, though, he got to come back and play for the Lions. Though.
It was.
How was that?
You know, my career where I played at was it meshed with my life.
What's all the teams?
So I started out to be 21 years old playing for the Atlanta Falcons in Atlanta at that time.
Yeah.
I mean,
that's
it was amazing.
With it, all that type of shit.
It was amazing.
Yeah.
That was when the music was starting to really
It was amazing, right?
Yeah, you was in Nelly video.
It was an amazing time. I'm trying to tell you. to be 21 years old, and you know you watch that on TV, you see them doing that, but to actually on days off, you can go to Buckhead or different places in Atlanta. I mean, you can actually go do these things, and they're normal. I mean, and then you go to the game, and the game was live. I mean, so that was a great time period. And then I went to the Redskins, and I got traded there. So being traded, something must not have worked. Otherwise, they would have kept you. So something didn't really work for me. So being back in it, so going to the Washington now, Ernest Biner was my running back coach, and he really grounded me and really taught me how to be a running back, a pro. Now, Warrick Dunn really was. I mean, he was instrumental in me being even who I am today. Just being able to sit in the running back room next to him and learn the game on and off the field, the way you give back, what pros do. I mean, to sit here. I mean, again, I'm still a young little kid. And he's, 7 years vet, so I'm still trying to get it in. But, but he telling me, it ain't all about just getting it in. So I'm being able to see that, but then now going to hear it and Washington from a player who played, who's on his second career as a coach, like he's different. It's a different conversation now.
Yeah.
So that was a great place for me to really, I want to say, reground myself. And then from there, going to Detroit, like I'm in my 5th year, I think, 6th year. So not everybody can come to Atlanta on a Sunday to see the game.
Mm-hmm.
But being in Detroit now, friends can come up, family can come up. So come in the locker room, like I can actually share this experience now.
Mm-hmm.
And that's something I had always wanted to do. And another moment, I mean, just to have a Detroit Lion uniform on.
Yeah,
being from here, having a uniform in the locker room, but then to actually play on Thanksgiving in a Detroit Lion uniform. I mean, my whole life, still watch it. That's what you do here. And so having a chance to be a part of that, all of that, was, again, just another part of the dream, but it was a lot, man. Having a lot of people around all the time.
Yeah. That's how people get away from the home.
So after that, I went to Seattle. I'm all the way on the left coast. And that was when I actually, I want to say, I'm like 5, 6 years, 7 years into it. And now it all is really making sense. Like, I mean, I got the party out my system. I got the family and friends being involved out my system. Now I'm locked in. And, that's also the place where I got released. So just as I'm feeling like I'm really starting to be something, get somewhere, I didn't really truly get the opportunity to prove who I could have been, I believe. It's a blessing in disguise, but at the same time, that was a great place for me to mature into the final years of my career, if you will.
Were you playing with Sean Alexander at that time?
No, he had just left. Yeah. I was playing with my dog, Julius Jones, though. That's my boy. What's up, Fleur? What's up, Fleur? That's my dog right there. But yeah, I mean, that all my stops, they were perfect for me, man. Perfect.
Retiring early, I know a lot of people try to stretch it out. Was you was done with the game and you were just on the new thing?
I was done. I was done. I got released, and I felt like I got released twice by the same coaching staff. So it was kind of like, I was in my feelings. And I just, by that time, I had seen a lot of friends that just kept trying to get back in the league.
It became a thing.
They would get called into training camp and, would be a body in camp. And just kept doing it.
Oh, damn, so it's a system even in that.
And I just told myself, at some point when it's over, it's over. Yeah. And what ended up happening, I got a lake house. I was at my lake house, and I told myself, if I get a call from the Bears or Detroit, I'll play again. I don't have to move all over. It's right here. I got family in Chicago. I'm here in Detroit. And then Detroit called like that next day. Damn. And so I'm like, okay. And as I'm like wondering, I'm talking to myself. I go into my bathroom and I'm looking in the mirror and I'm like, man, bro, we get ready to go to Detroit. And I don't have any emotion. I'm just like, And then I'm like, man, or you can stay here and figure it out. And a big old smile came on my face. I felt good. I'm like, let me try that again. Then I looked at myself in the mirror again, and I'm like, I'm playing with my emotions now. This is one of the first times I consciously,
mind versus your heart.
First time I ever consciously had that real conversation.
Yeah, that's what.
And so I'm figure out what's next. Big old smile. Okay, play football. No. And I just I played with it, and then I called my agent afterwards. I was like, JS, man, I think I'm done. He's like, are you sure? I was like, think about that though. Like, all this, we just talked about how amazing in the dream, and since I was 8, and now I'm voluntarily being like, I think I'm done.
But you got to that point to where you've experienced the things
you
wanted to experience.
I was willing to go in the dark. What's up, big cousin? Mr. B the Flow, I see you. I went into this dark space, into the unknown, thinking I had an idea of what I wanted to be. And, that uncertainty led me down a different path, darkness, depression. But whatever I was willing to face, whatever was down that path, rather than continue having coaches yelling at me all the time. Like that whole lifestyle. I was done with it. Yeah.
When you were playing, did y'all know about CTE then?
I mean, it wasn't. I don't remember it being like a big, like as exposed as it is now. But I mean, football is football. People had not just CTE, but I mean, you got injuries. I mean, you got stuff. I mean, you got guys who, I mean, their arm about to fall off, but they gonna play the game.
Yeah, I was watching the pod when they asked another NFL player the same type of shit. He got the same type of response.
Deion lost toes, but
yeah, he was like, shit,
he loved the game.
It's a part of the game. You wake up, you possibly can die out here. You know what I'm saying? But we play it every day. You know what I'm saying?
It's part of it.
Yeah,
I mean, that's part. And
you know that coming in.
And a lot of guys, I mean, you got to kick them out. I mean, they clawing it. You got to really like, man.
They don't want to leave. That's all
you're
they know.
50. You're time to get out of here, bro.
That's all. When people try to leave things, and that's all they know. They don't know how to leave.
Yeah. I mean,
they get scared. They get scared because they don't know
that darkness. That I mean,
what's next?
You lose a check. That check ain't coming no more. You lose the NFL shield. You ain't a part of the team no more. And it's almost like everything that I worked for or a person works for, that's not it no more. Yeah. And so now, and a lot of times throughout our space, we kind of some people get pushed through, and all of a sudden that line, that push stops. Now you got to do your own stuff. And you might be 20, 30, 40 years old. I was 29, and now it's like, what skills do I have other than football? Like, what can I do? And that's a big part of for me.
Pushed you to go on the journey to find yourself?
Yes. I mean, because, in that dark space and not knowing where I was at or what I was doing or who I was, I mean, I was partying. I was having a good time, but I was going down a path that I've seen people go down this path. And that wasn't where I came from. That wasn't who I was. That wasn't my upbringing. I mean, that wasn't me. But that wasn't me. That was not me. And so, I had the defining moment that I had was I was after a night of hanging out at a bar in Lansing, in East Lansing, and I was walking home. And I'm walking home, and I'm struggling, man. I mean, I live probably 3-4 blocks away. And I'm walking home, and I saw this bench. I was like, man, let me sit on this bench, man. I got to get my mind right because I don't even know if I can. I might take a nap on this bench. And so I sit on this bench, and I see the police ride by. And so they waved at me. I waved back at them. But this homeless guy was crossing the street, and they almost hit the homeless guy. It was almost like they didn't really see him. And I'm like, I don't even think nothing of it. And then, as the homeless guy is walking, I see his face in the street light, and on his face I see my face. Oh shit! And I'm watching him walk, and it was one of them like kind of walking, hunched over, kind of like looked at me like this, and I saw my face, and I'm like, so in my mind I'm like, so down this path that I'm on, I'm gonna be invisible, just like he was invisible. They almost hit because they didn't see him. Yeah, they didn't see him. I mean, he was, and I'm like, man, and I know stories of these things. Like I've seen, like it's real life. And on that path, I'm like, man, is this going to be me? And that, I mean, I sobered right up, and I was like, okay, we got to make a decision of what we are about to do with our life in that moment. And from then, I tapped into my religion and spirituality. And because I had everything I needed as a man, I had it all, and I wasn't happy, and I wasn't doing what I needed to. So there had to be a higher power, a higher path in this space. So following that higher power, finding that higher path, will that help? Will that help? I mean, anytime you need something, they say call on them. Yeah. So I did, and as I was doing that, I was like, I want to be just like that. So I started looking at different religious figures, whether they were alive or not, like the Malcolm X's, the Martin Luther Kings, the Buddhas, the Mother Teresa's, the Jesuses, the Muhammad's. I mean, all these folks. I'm looking at everybody who did for the people without
return like that.
they just did for the people. And in that space, that's what I wanted to do. So just like I was watching like the Jerome Bettises, the Bo Jacksons, and emulating them in the workouts and things, I'm watching the spiritual leaders. I'm emulating like what did you do? What y'all do? And the biggest thing that was common across all of the different religions and spiritual practices was fasting. So a 40-day fast came up. 40-day fast of just water.
You just drink water for 40 days?
Yeah. 40 days and 40 nights. Huh?
How did that work?
What you mean how it worked?
Explain that process. You just
drank water for 40 days?
You ain't get hungry?
Of course.
Yeah, you're hungry, but
put it this way. Of course you're going to get tempted.
That's the point, though.
The point, there's tons of points to it.
Okay, I'm trying to get the point.
Well, you get on that. I don't recommend that journey, but in that space, it was a chance for me to, one, if I ain't eating, you know how many meetings you have when you eat?
Yeah.
If I'm not trying to be in that environment and change my habits, then I'm not hanging out with people who I have been hanging out with.
That's what I was going to ask you.
I mean, everything changed.
That's what I was going to ask you. I'm like, so are you still around people?
But I know I'm still around people, yes.
Okay.
But I'm not partaking in it, which then it's like, maybe I won't meet y'all at the bar tonight.
Yeah.
And as that goes, you start to break these old habits. And I mentioned before how I built that when I broke my leg, I built this body. In 40 days, I weighed the same weight I weighed as a junior or as an 8th grader. So all that months of working to prepare for this body was gone.
You say you lost 70 pounds?
I lost 70 pounds.
40 days.
In 40 days. And so I shed not only physically, not only spiritually, but I shed everything and had this blank canvas of who do you want to become.
Okay, I see where you're going here.
And so that's the first time I started becoming Todd now. So now I'm creating this new person.
You wanted to leave TJ?
I needed to get as far away from that person as possible. That lifestyle. I'm not him anymore. I'm not him. So I don't want to watch football. I'm talking about football. I'm not going to the weight room.
Yeah.
I mean, I distanced myself completely as far as I could and said, okay, we're going to rebuild this new person.
That's dope.
I taught myself how to write with my left hand. I rebuilt a person. And part of that was now giving in service.
Facts. That's dope. It makes sense. I see where you see where you took it right there. Okay, I know. So what's the cane?
Walking stick.
Okay.
We all on our journey in life and doing my research, a lot of spiritual figures had staff. It's a part of culture. In Africa, majority of the elders have staff. People have staffs. Here, are you hurt? You got an ailment?
Like it's something.
In different cultures, they got, you might have a huge tall. But it's looked at differently. And so when I went, David Guido, what's happening, baby? I had a chance to spend some time in Africa and just learn some things. And so that was a chance for me to, as I'm developing who I am, and again, I'm emulating these monks. I'm emulating these spiritual figures. They got staff. I need a staff. Let me get mine.
How was that going to Africa?
Amazing.
That got to be.
It was an eye-opening. It was a different experience for me from where I was at, because it really opened my eyes to. Yeah, be careful though, because you're gonna feel some energy later. No. But it really opened my eyes to the possibilities, the potential. My mind was in one place, and then to go there and to just to have conversation, see things. I was able to come back and just have another different mentality. I'm building myself differently now, and I'm walking differently. I'm talking different. I'm feeling different, and yeah, man, it was a phenomenal experience.
With tapping into the spiritual and stuff, I've been seeing that you do a lot with that. Do you feel the difference in energy?
Yeah.
Like you were saying something about your spiritual number or
life path number.
Life path number.
Yes. Life path number. It's when you take your birthday and you add up the numbers, your month, the day, the year. You add them up, and the goal is to get to a single digit. And so it's similar to horoscopes. Like, everybody know what their sign is, but they don't know what their life path number is. And once you get to that single digit, if it's 11, 22, or 33, you leave the digits, you leave them whole. But for me, it became a guide of something that, I found out what mine was. I read it. Some things resonated, some things didn't. And the things that really didn't were really things I needed to work on myself anyway. Those things that I really need, and it wasn't something pushed on me by somebody saying, hey, you got to believe this. Because when I came back, I questioned a lot of things. I questioned everything. I just like, well, why do I believe this? Why do I think this? So I questioned everything, and I had a chance to make my own decisions. And learning my life path number was a way for me to really find a root, a place to hold on to. That was the day I was born. Like, nobody had to tell me that. And from there, I kind of just, built the tree from that space. And even to this day, it's numerology. It's ancient. It goes all the way back.
Numbers are always.
Numbers
Just so happens.
When the live numbers
What do you
go,
say?
baby.
11, 22, 33, you said?
The 11s, 22s, and 33s, yes.
Just so happened this is episode 111.
It's not a coincidence.
Hey, the number, it'd be crazy.
Angel numbers.
So, do you, I see a lot of people have, different crystals or different things. Do you use those too?
Yeah, my homeboy, what is it called? We went to Cali, and they were selling.
Hold on.
He got over the pocket.
Energy.
Yeah.
There's energy. And I believe in it. I ain't gonna tell you. Everyone has to have their own experience.
Facts.
But I believe in it, and it makes sense to me. It's helped me. It's
chakras.
It's like chakras. Yeah, we all. It's real to me. And there's so much research that a person can do, and when you're on your journey, for me. My journey was to be in the spiritual space. So when I wanted to be in the sports space, you got coaches for everything. They got all type of techniques to lift the weight. So what's going to make this side any different? There's tons of ways. You just find the realm you want to play in, the space you want to live in, and then you walk your path. You become the seeker.
That makes sense. People don't even think that in deep about energy though. Why do you think people don't think so in depth about energy?
Why? Well, you tell them. Why do you think?
Maybe because they can't see it. That's my opinion. But
maybe
people believe in air and can't see that.
Maybe.
Yeah, a lot of people you gotta see. A lot of people want to see it. You know what I'm saying? They want to be able to see it or feel it.
Or even how many people truly really want to tap in?
That's the question.
Because a 40-day fast is not fun.
That sounds
you made it through, but I think 2-3 weeks ago, a pastor just died trying to do a 40-day fast.
I believe it, and that's where with my life, I had this NFL machine body.
Yeah.
So I would me in this day right now trying to do it. I probably won't make it.
Yeah, you looked a little bigger. I remember seeing you in practice.
But even me right now.
But you still big.
But for me to go into the NFL and run the ball, I probably won't make it. You understand what I'm saying? So there's phases in life, and again, that was my thing. It is Lent. It's Lent. It can be anything. But that, again, depends. You knowing who you are and what you are and when you're space, you know what your vices are. You know what you do to escape. You know where you go. Now, if you know how what I can't remember what commercial it is, but it's when a person's hungry, they turn to a different person. Snickers.
Yeah, Snickers.
So if you know that, if you know I'm not going to eat, are you going to allow yourself to be angry all the time?
So it works on more than multiple. I see what it's
So now you got to come in and be like, okay.
Mental, just as much.
It works on a lot of different
That's
things.
what I'm saying.
Just by not eating.
Think about if the minute you tell yourself you ain't gonna eat, you're gonna see every single commercial with food on it. Yeah. Everything look good. Yeah. And part of it is you don't go around advertising. I'm not eating, y'all. You do your life.
People can't eat. Yeah, you can do it without.
And so if you can be able to control your emotions, your mind, your mentality, your environment, if you're able to just do that, that helps. Because a lot of times we don't control our emotions, we just react.
Yeah.
Just straight up react. And so if we can start, and sometimes you react, you say or do something, you'll never be able to get back.
Yeah.
So if you can start to understand some of these things and how your mind works and how your body works and the connection that we all have together, life, it can be different.
Where did the Rainmaker come from?
So I got my nonprofit, New World Flood, flooding the world through giving and service, a single raindrop at a time. And so the background to some of that is a single raindrop is the beginning of a flood. Just one raindrop causes motion. Like if you out somewhere and just one raindrop hits you, you're gonna stop.
Oh shit, it's about to rain.
You're gonna stop. You're gonna look up. You're gonna be like, man. And depending on where you at, what you got on, you're gonna make a move. I gotta do something. And then there's gonna be more and more and more. So if you can have just one act of kindness, and then you have multiple acts of kindness, or you have one person volunteering, and you have multiple people volunteering, the type of impact and type of lives you can change, it's huge.
Yeah, it's a snowball effect.
So in my mind, through my nonprofit, and I started with a lady named Heather Sheets, through my mind, my goal is to create raindrops. My goal is to create different people who will have one act of kindness, one thought, one action, one person being able to go and change. Just one. That's one person, one raindrop. And the more people and the more minds that can think like that, that's rain. So now I'm the rainmaker.
That makes sense. That's dope. I like that.
That's where it came from.
Have you putting thought in your shit, though?
You got it. But I mean, that's what it's about, man. That's what we all can do that. Yeah. But it's the choices that we made. Yeah, and I felt like I had a chance to play pro football in the NFL. Yeah. And so at 29, am I nothing now? Like, am I nothing? Like, I had a chance to reach this huge platform, and now I am done. I'm just gonna go to the bar. I'm just gonna go be quiet. I'm just gonna go sit at home. Like but again, that's not. But I look at my family. I look at where I come from, and that's not what we do. So you got to figure it out, and sometimes you got to be the one that sets the standard. You may not see it. You got to be the one that says, okay, today is the day that I'm going to change my bloodline. I'm going to change, and now it's possible. And whether that was my father that made that decision at some point, whether that was a grandfather, somebody along my line made that decision. And the closest person I can see are my parents and my grandparents, both sides.
That's dope. You have both sides. People don't think the
but we do have it. Our ancestors are here all the time. And to even think through, how we ended up even here, there's some magic in there.
Yeah, I appreciate that. Definitely a lot of magic going on, man. Did this with this journey, is that when you started to record music? I know you've been recording music. You been doing music?
No, this is I didn't start really getting into music until the pandemic. Actually, so like 3 years ago. I mean, I started writing though. During that time, I started journaling. I just started writing. I mean, any person on a journey ever at all, I encourage journaling, writing your thoughts, just writing things down, and because I would write things and I would read them, and I'd be like, "Who said that?
Yeah, that's nice.
Who said that? I didn't. Do I think like that?
That's dope.
And I didn't realize that. I didn't realize just the words that you say compared to the words that you write. Some things I couldn't say out loud. I just couldn't say it. But I can write it and I can look at it. Then it hits me differently.
People say that. I gotta start trying to do that.
So I tell him with the music, I feel like it'd be a lot better for him if you just take that time to write. Your thoughts is a little different than if you try to rush it by just putting it out.
When I just say it and say a couple lines, and I never really write it down.
But that's
because I'll go back and read it and just keep just.
But I mean, think about this. Again, I relate a lot of things to football, to my sport. How many people just wake up and go play a game? They run the same play over and over and over and over. And then when the light's on, they run the same play, but they've had 15 different variables. This guy came from that way, that guy came from this way. And in practice, you running into all these variables. And when the game comes, you already know, like, there's only so many things that can happen on this play. Who's over there? Okay, he ain't fast. Okay, I can run him over. So if he jump in the hole, I just run through him. So now if you're writing, and especially if you're hearing the same song over and over again, you're writing, and you might say the same word, but when it's on, you say that word completely differently now.
By reading, you say.
No, just by repetition.
Okay.
Just by practicing. You say completely different. Now, there's some people who are gifted who can just, want to take it and go.
Yeah.
But in my mind, even still, there's some type of practice, repetition going on in their mind. Okay. They may not write it down, but they might have said the same thing over and over again. So, I mean, it's again, each person is different. The flow's different.
Yeah. So you doing music, that just was a result of you doing your journaling.
Just journaling and yeah, I mean, because then I'd write like my emotions down. I would write my dreams down. And then sometimes I write a poem. And it's like, man, I wrote a poem. But again, that's what you do in English class in school. They're like, write a poem. And you're like, I ain't writing a poem. But I mean, you write a poem. And part of it came because I'm teaching myself how to write with my left hand. I have to write to practice. Yeah. So as I'm practicing, I'm doing that. And we all have a freestyle, you know what I'm saying? Everyone jump in the back seat and have that freestyle every now and then. You know what I'm saying? It happens. It happens. It's an art form. And like during the pandemic, my homeboy Tim Hurd and I, we started a podcast called Gumption. And we had to have an intro song.
I got an intro.
We had to have an intro song, so we jumped on GarageBand. And we got GarageBand going. And next thing you know, it's like, man, and my nephew, Dante, 1K Tay, what's up, baby? He's been in music the whole time. So I'm messing with him, I'm messing with him doing stuff anyway. So I'm, seeing stuff, and I got friends who do music, so I'm around it all the time. But then when I got a chance to say we got to make this intro song. And then because we started the podcast, I had a mic, I had the interface, like I had all these things, and it just one thing led to another. I enjoyed it. It was fun, and kind of went just like playing sports. As a kid, I played every single sport, and whether that's gym class or you just out in the playground and that's the only equipment you got. You playing it, and then over time, like man, that's not fun. I don't want to play that.
Your daddy damn sure let us know y'all playing every fucking sport.
I was trying to tell my kids. I was trying to tell my kids and other kids like all the other sports gonna help you. Even if you want to do basketball, track gonna help you for that. Football gonna make you stronger for that. If you want to do football, this gonna help you with your footwork and your coordination.
And because of his dad saying that to me, I make my kids play a lot of sports. I don't make them. They want to do it.
His dad used to say that?
Yeah, he was trying to get me to run track. That's how I knew he was a track coach.
Should have ran track.
Told me. That's when you would have made it.
But that's the thing.
Yeah, I was playing AAU.
I mean, in my opinion, again, entertainment purposes only.
Okay.
But an athlete, you check the resume when you walk into this NFL locker room.
They asking all that.
He was a basketball star. He was a track star. Man. He played baseball. He played lacrosse. Like I'm talking about one person.
Yeah.
And that's not me. That's my teammate. And he did it, and he did it, and it's an athlete. Yeah. And you got people who are all of a sudden they say they're athletes, but they say, man, I'm 6'10". I should probably play basketball.
Yep.
Or I prefer to play baseball. Like they find what they want, their niche, but put them on any court and they're competitive in every space.
Yeah.
And each sport teaches you something different. But at the same time, especially if you're a high school student, you stay competitive year round.
Yeah, you just learn to drive.
Just year round. Yeah. But also you get to see folks, because people, for example, people in football pads look big. Yeah. But then you get them on a basketball court and you give them an elbow. You're like, this big old soft.
Yeah. It's a whole different ballgame when I see you on the field.
But or like people look, football is one thing. You get them on a track, like this guy is slow, really. Oh man, I'm out here for the kill
Track
these
different
dudes.
speed. I try to tell people.
But track is it's about training.
Yeah,
and it's a one-on-one sport.
But if you're trying to play if you're football, if you're a football player, and you know you're going to be a football player, you better run track. If you're a football player and you're not running track, then you're not a football player. I mean, football or track, one, it opens up your lungs. It picks your knees up. It shows you how to run.
That's how you hit them holes.
That's how you chase folks down. I mean, that's the game.
Yeah.
But if you like, man, I'm gonna take it off. I'm just be okay. Then you like my kids.
What about wrestling? People think football.
Of course, wrestling.
Okay.
I mean, football, especially usually more.
I've been hearing that
more offensive linemen or defensive linemen are wrestling.
Okay,
So put it this way, technically, you got. I mean, this ain't across the board, but usually you got offensive linemen, defensive linemen play football or play wrestle. I mean, that's the grappling.
Okay, got you.
Now the athletic offensive lineman, defensive lineman play basketball. You're like, man, how does this big fella
move?
And then you move forward, the wrestlers usually throw the shot put or the disc.
Oh, so they still doing track.
But they're running. And the more athletic big fellas, they probably are more sprinters. And then you go into football, and especially at a high school level, it's the same group of guys. You guys are, I mean, that's how you build these bonds. And so, I mean, that's part of kind of what it is.
People always just pick a sport right now.
Now it's different. Now it's like, man, I'm not.
I try to encourage kids always, like, man, go play something else too, like that. Just so you
cheerlead,
learn.
Yeah.
Cheerlead, basketball, volleyball, track. I'm talking competitive cheer. We trying to do it all.
I'm encouraging my kids. I encourage all the kids to do it. And there's gonna come a point where it's just like, this really ain't my thing.
Yeah.
Okay.
Some shit I know they
Okay,
don't like.
that's fine. But if you started it, you gotta finish.
That's the only thing I tell my kids always. They're like, well, Dad, I don't know. You started. You at least finish the season out.
And you
don't
never
wanna
have to
play
do it
no
again.
more. You don't do it.
But if you start it, you gotta finish it.
That's how it was with Hooper. And then next year, y'all both on the team? They're like, yeah. I'm like,
So, you being a dad, are you gonna allow your kids to play football if they want to play football?
If they want to play. Yeah.
Well, I know a lot of people now. It's done got real soft. Like I coach football, and I feel like, I mean, everybody know what football brings. So if you want to go play flag or something, I feel like there's a lot of parents that don't want their kids playing football no more because they're scared.
So what I'm gonna do, if my kids want to, is I'm going to get them started playing as early as possible.
Since they're having fun first.
Well, with that, but also to learn the game.
Learn the game the
because
right
if you put a kid who's never played and say they're gonna play in high school, you got to be special. Because the first time you do get hit, it's like, and in high school, man, in high school you're playing against 18, people who have been playing.
Yeah.
But if you're a 7, 8, 9-year-old, and you're just starting, those kids ain't hitting hard. But you're also learning, like, put your head up. Like, you're learning how to get hit.
Don't get hit like that.
You're learning
that could hurt.
You're learning how. Like kids aren't that big and causing that big a collision at that young. And if they like it, then they'll keep going and growing and getting bigger. But they'll also learn the fundamentals of how to play the game. But if you throw an older kid into the mix for the very first time, they don't know how to tackle. They've never been hit. They don't know what to do. So I would encourage my kids early to start. And if they get hit the first time and they're like 9. And they're like, Dad, I think I'm done. Okay, we found that out.
They're gonna see their other friends playing. So even if they do get hit young, if you get them young, they ready to hop back up.
And it don't hurt like that. Kids, I mean, I'm not gonna say there's not as much head-to-head collision. There ain't like monster. You might have a couple here and there. You might have a couple in there, but they're not. It's different. But as you get older, I'm saying there are monsters out here. I mean, don't play them.
For real.
Straight up.
That's dope though. You'll give your kids a chance.
Yeah.
A lot of parents wouldn't. And I ask that you being an NFL athlete, so a lot of people see it. I mean, you got to see what it did to some people and what it. You know what I mean?
And I'm gonna have like real conversations with them. Like, okay, why are you playing? Don't play first of all because I play.
Yeah, you don't want to hear.
Like,
no,
I don't want you to play. Don't play because I play. Play because you want to play. And then the next question is, and then when they get a little older, especially like junior high, high school, like why are you playing for fun, or are you trying to get a scholarship?
What are you doing?
Like, why are you? Because depending on that answer will depend on how I treat them.
That is the
Doing this
exact
journey.
same. That's the
Yeah.
exact same answer though, because I'll tell my kids like, if you playing the sport as a rec sport, I'm all with that. But if you walk around here talking about you want to be the best, you want to do this, you got work to do.
Yeah.
It's a lot of work to do.
And I'm on you.
You can say all the stuff you want. Like if you want to just do it and have fun with your friends, I'm all for that. But if you want to do it,
Let me know how
you're
to
talking
come in.
like, hey, I want to go do this, I want to go do that. Well, you got it. This is where it
Yeah.
starts. Like
Yeah.
you really got to.
I'm on you. I'm on you. We got. I mean, you playing. I mean, it's. I ain't seen you run around the block once today.
Mm-hmm.
I ain't seen not one push up.
Yeah.
I see you playing on this
It
phone.
ain't just me.
I see you on this video game.
That's what it takes.
I ain't seen that. You know what I mean? And so I'm gonna be that will be now. If he's like, man, I'm just trying to hang out with my friends. Okay, well, I'm not play all the games you want. Yeah. Don't be mad now when you ain't winning or you ain't having the succession. Don't be mad.
This is the elite sport. Like football, like obviously every sport is like that. But when it comes to football, like it take everybody doing their job, and it take you actually. You got to be trained like a warrior to be able to compete like that.
Yeah.
And be able to put that work in.
Again, depending on what they're trying to do and where they're trying to go, because it will be a different conversation. If your dream is to play professional or go to college,
this is what you got.
I'm gonna hold you to that. You said you want to do this. I think I have an idea of what it takes. Again, I don't necessarily know the future, but I know what's going to give you the best chance to have that dream realized.
Tell us about the business you started with your brother.
Actually, Tico started it before. It's called Duckett Brothers Distributing. And so Tico played college, he played pro ball, and he got done. And he was working for another company, a distribution company. And long story short, he started his own business. And when I got done, while I was playing, I started watching it. And my goal was once I got done playing, I knew what I was going to be doing. I'm just going to jump in the business. I'm going to roll with it. And so I had a lot to learn. And part of my dark space was that wasn't my workout. Like I didn't know I didn't know nothing about this. Like it didn't move me enough. I didn't know about business. I mean, I didn't know certain terminologies. I didn't know things, and that just had me questioning my decision. Like, why you stopped playing thinking this was gonna be your life? Like,
you don't know how to
I don't even know it, and I call it the mortal world. I went from playing, being this on this pedestal to now I'm in the mortal 9 to 5, and that is no fun. I mean,
all that just to do this.
Exactly, and I'm like, this is what people do. And I mean, I'm not knocking it. It just I had never experienced it, and so I was in this space like, man, like what is it about? And I had to learn what my new workout was going to be. That's when I got into t-shirt printing. So I'm like, okay, I like t-shirts, I like printing. Okay, I started getting into that, which then that became my 9 to 5. I became a customer service. I mean, you gotta work. And I didn't really understand that at the time. And so then, going through my t-shirt printing business, I learned what it meant. I learned it's the same exact work that I was doing, same stuff. I just didn't know that. And so once I was able to merge the two worlds and see and learn, I mean, I can call it defense out, but I didn't know what a PO meant. I didn't know what different words meant. And so once I was able to learn the terminology, learn the game, learn these things, let's go to work now. This is what it means to be an entrepreneur now. Like this is what you do, and this is what we do. And as a kid or a college athlete or whatever, pro athlete, you an entrepreneur anyway. It's the same. You're a business. You're a business.
This is work. Yeah.
But you don't realize that. And there's a lot of other things around you that all you gotta do show up. He's doing this for you. She's doing that for you. They're doing that. So it was a learning experience for me.
You done went through a crazy transformation from the football all the way to now. What's the next plan for TJ? Like for Todd?
Yeah.
What's the next plan for Todd?
I can kind of one thing that I have learned, this is more recently, is if you don't know where you've been, you don't know where you're going. So I am bringing TJ back into the life because that's a part of me. It's a huge part of me. It's who I am. Before, up until probably a year or less, I distanced myself as far away from it as possible. But now, I mean, this is who I am. Like I am this guy.
Yeah, so I'm taking it away.
Now, and I'm taking away my own me, my essence.
Yeah.
And by doing that, I'm not going nowhere.
Yeah.
So I'm bringing this all back, which is why I'm having these conversations now, because now I'm bringing these worlds together and becoming whole again. Like I thought it was whole. Like I created two different lives.
Yeah.
And now we're merging them into one now.
Oh, making it happen.
So part of that will be helping people do the same thing. How do you transform through a transition? Like, what does that even look like? I have a great idea, and people are wondering and struggling through it all the time. So part of what I'm doing now is helping people through that process, showing people how to do it, giving them ways to do it, just being that voice that they can, showing them a life path number, like give them something different to think about on this journey. And being able to share my experience to help lift others to their greatest heights. I mean, again, we as people, we had so much potential. And God willing, we have more days. At some point, our ticket's going to be punched and we won't be waking up. We won't be on podcast. We won't have a chance to share this energy. Our kids won't know us. Our kids' kids won't know us. The community won't be. I mean, there's things that we all can be a part of that can better our environment. And we all can be an example. So that's where I'm at now. So, I mean, my web, IamTheRainmaker.com. That's where a lot of all my information's there. But, I mean, that's what I'm at now. It's time to actually be this next person.
Being a father, letting them see what their dad used to be or how you used to do it, like, how does that feel? Like, being able to take them down on the field.
Yeah, it feels great for me to do. Because it's something I've dreamed about, but they don't understand. They don't know.
Yeah, they just like
they don't. I mean,
we right here.
They don't. Man, they're ready to. As soon as you get there, they're ready to go. I'm like, God, you guys want? No. Like I took my kids probably a year or two ago, maybe 3. I don't know. But before the pandemic, I took them to Michigan State Autograph Day where they can meet all the players and run on the field and all this. And I'm like, that's so and so, and this so and so. Man, they saw this green and white tractor with Sparty on it. That was the most excitement they got, was seeing this green and white tractor with Sparty on it. And I'm like, do you know who that is?
You're around Hall of Famers and everything.
I mean, and they're like, but what about that? Can we go play on it? Nah, like, I mean, like, they're just now, like, my oldest is 9. And so he's starting to be around kids who know sports and know things. And he's just now starting to, like, I was on the news last night, and he was like, you were on the news? And I'm like, yeah. He was like, oh, man, how did you do that? I mean, they're just now starting to put some pieces together.
You used to pull out an old video game and let the kids see
have
that
they seen any of that?
They're just learning video games. Like, I just showed them Mario this Christmas.
Yeah, so you gotta pull out that.
I got
none of the questions.
No, I got a 9-year-old, and his probably about 2 weeks ago, one of his friends was like, so, is this your dad? And he was like, Dad, is this you? And I'm like, yeah, I'm trying to tell you. But his kid was like, oh man, do you know so-and-so? And his friend is like asking me all these questions. And my son is like, just like, oh, like ding, like light bulb. So I got a 9-year-old, I got a 5-year-old, I got a 3-year-old, a 2-year-old, and about to be a 1-year-old. So, I mean, I got with the 5 and under, I got another 5 years before they even know.
Oh shit!
So some of these things that I go to and do, I got them to get the photo opportunity with them. So when they get older, I can be like, man, yes, you were at the Michigan. You were there when Kenneth Walker scored all these touchdowns. And you wanted to leave at halftime. Like, come on, man.
Well, I think that's kind of dope though. They get to enjoy you for that, and not for the celebrity.
I love it. I mean, they'll like, we'll be somewhere. They're like, why are they talking to you?
Like, I'm kind of a big deal, son.
And I just tell them, I'll be like, your dad made some plays when he was young, and some people happen to remember him. Like, oh, okay. Where's that tractor at?
That's funny. That's dope, though.
Man, I know it's been a long time coming, man. Like you said, stuff just lines up the right way, so we definitely appreciate you.
Thank you. Yeah, thank you.
Would you like to tell the people where they can find you at?
Yeah. I am therainmaker.com is my website. At Todd J. Duckett. That's pretty much on all social medias, at Todd J. Duckett. My TikTok is at The Rainmaker. YouTube is at Todd J. Duckett. Instagram, Facebook, all that is at Todd J. Duckett. But, hey, man, I appreciate y'all. Thank you for having me on here. And I wish y'all much success, baby. That grind. Keep it going. And remember these moments. This is what makes us. These are the moments that make us.
Shout out to charity one more time.
New World Flood. Flooding the world through giving and service. A single raindrop at a time. It's newworldflood.org. And same at all social medias, at New World Flood. Anyone interested in volunteering, giving and service, reach out. If you have a charity or an event coming up and you want some help, some volunteers, reach out. Just that's what it's about for me now. So, yeah. Thank you.
Hey, the Smoke Session with Squirrel, episode 111. We got Todd T.J. Duckett in the building, man. So make sure y'all tune in and tap in. If you haven't, go to YouTube and subscribe to the channel, Smoke Session with Squirrel. Yeah, shout out the sponsors. Hey, shout out the sponsors, Big Cannabis. Shout out 8 Mile Vodka. They've been rocking with us heavy, man. So we definitely appreciate y'all. We appreciate you for coming on the pod.
Man, thank you.
Y'all, make sure y'all subscribe. Smoke Session with
Hello.